On the first part of our morning show today, we're here with Loren Glassbrenner, who is the River Valley District Administrator. I call him Mr. Enthusiasm. How you doing there, Loren?
Hey there. I'm good. I'm ready to go. It's a beautiful Monday morning. It's a little gray out there, you know. That cloudiness might be good for fishing, right? It might get the fish biting. It might be a good day to get out and do some field work as you see the farmers out there. But when I talked to my brother last week, everybody's got crops in the ground and we got a little moisture, but we sure could use some sunny days to make that corn and alfalfa pop. So yeah, we'd like a couple sunny days, I think, in Wisconsin, but I think we're going to get that Wednesday. Wednesday's weather sure looks good for grass growing and such. So yeah, we're excited. It's a good way to start the summer.
What about graduation? Everything go well at the end of the year for River Valley?
Yeah, everything went just tremendously. And again, a hats off to Darby Blakely, our principal over at River Valley High School, and to his Secretary Lou Kinchy. Many of you know Ms. Luann, and she and Tamika from the front office just run a tight ship, and they had a beautiful graduation day. The weather was perfect. We had many families there, but it was kind of 100 kids, right on the dot. 100 students graduated from River Valley High School, and we just had a beautiful day, and it was a beautiful selections from band. We had beautiful selections from the choir. We had just great speeches from senior class members, so we just really enjoy kind of sending those kids off to their next steps, getting them, kind of halfway up the stairway, and they've got a few more steps to go, but we're excited about what they've done for us in River Valley. And in my speech, I just wanted to thank them for all their hard work and leadership. An incredible group of students graduated from River Valley, and I'm excited what they'll do in their next steps as they go forth into the world.
Your sports teams wrapped it up over the weekend, Wesley Hatfield and the soccer team.
Yeah, just a true hats off to Wesley Hatfield. He was at the track meet, and he did a great job. He didn't quite make it into the finals, but he was there, and he represented us well. And again, we've got an outstanding group of young ladies that had made the regional final in girls soccer, and they fought hard. They lost the game 1-0, but truly a defensive game and an incredible showing this year again in girls soccer. So again, I always try to say, be involved in all those things, whether it's FFA, whether it's choir, whether it's band, whether it's track, whether it's soccer, whatever it is, stay involved as a kid, because those are the things that get you motivated to go to school every day. Sometimes it's not the geometry class, or sometimes it's not, AP calculus that gets us to want to wake up in the morning, but it is being a part of a soccer team or an FFA team or any kind of team at school that really brings kids together. So I love that part of this job. I think we get to celebrate the talents of different ways of kids. And so a hats off again to Wesley, and a hat off to our girls soccer team and their coaches. They did great work here at the end of the season, and now we jump into summer.
When you check your activity schedule, Loren, it's very interesting because there are things on there that I didn't even know existed. But you have, and it's for the community, not just for the school, but you have pickleball listed.
Yes,
and other things,
Yeah, the schools are for the community. Our schools are used by different groups throughout the summer. So now we'll have weightlifting starting for a lot of kids in groups. We will have youth baseball. We'll have youth softball. We'll have youth volleyball. We'll have clinics and lessons. We will have pickleball, which is community, people in and out of our buildings. So those gymnasiums and that space, whether it's outdoor or indoor, are great parts of us that we get to be a part of in the community. So the campus is always busy. We're excited because the River Valley campus is kind of still in the middle of town. So there's a lot of activity, even though there's lots going on for us with our staff over this summer. It's a great way for our community to use that resource as well. And, if anybody wants to walk in the morning, a nice, quiet, wonderful, safe walk, our track opens at 6 a.m. every morning. So if you want to come, just walk the track, make some loops, and just get in some morning exercise as that sun comes over the horizon. You're always welcome to be a part of our campus.
Well, the big move is underway, I presume. We've been kind of hitting at it this year during your visits, and school year's done, so I'm guessing it's full speed ahead, isn't it?
It is full speed ahead. So even though the kids left on Friday at 3:15, those buses pulled away, and it was an exciting time, and everybody's honking, and the bus drivers are waving, and the kids are screaming out the windows. The teachers are back today. Today is a staff development day or a workshop day where they're finishing up grades, but they're also in the pack packing process. So again, as we close out that building up in Plain, the Plain Early Learning Center being vacated for us from students, that brings 2 more grades down to the River Valley campus. And we're excited about that because everybody will be in a centralized space. So it's going to be efficient, and it allows us to have some savings there for our budget that we are really excited about. But within that, and you guys have heard me talk about it, it's kind of that great migration. 4K and K, meaning 4K kindergarten, as well as 5K kindergarten, have to come down. So that means those 6 teachers displace 6 teachers, and those 6 teachers move into other spaces. So again, on the River Valley campus, we will have 3 buildings. We will have an elementary school that houses 4K through grade 2, and then our middle school is becoming an intermediate school is what they call it. So it's not quite middle school age kids, but it's kids that are in late elementary and early middle school. So it's going to be called River Valley Intermediate. That will house grades 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Then the backside of our high school has a nice new wing, and that's going to become our junior high. So 7th and 8th graders will have a specialized space back there, a very secluded space, a safe place for parents and families and kids out there. So that'll take over a wing in the back of our high school. So that'll be River Valley Junior High. And then that displaces some people that go into different spaces at the high school. So all in all, if you think about it in kind of chunks of a pie, about 75% of our kids and teachers are packing it up and moving around. And so out of the 100 classrooms, 25 get to kind of hold tight. The other ones will have to pack everything, put it in a box. We will coordinate that getting out of a room, that room getting cleaned, and then new stuff coming into that room. And that really starts this week. We have the rooms where people are not moving getting cleaned really this week. And then from that point forward, it's the magical migration of everybody moving around the campus at the River Valley campus, I guess, right there in Spring Green. So we're excited about it. It's going to be a great time for opportunities, but it's a lot of work, and a total shout out to Brian Cry and to a team of workers that are going to be on a maintenance crew this summer. There's going to be an incredible movement, and it's all orchestrated on paper. So hopefully, fingers crossed, good weather, and that things get to move in beautiful, scheduled times so that we can make it smooth and efficient and get everybody where they need to be. Really, we're hoping by the beginning of August, so that in August, teachers can come back, they can unpack and be ready for those kids that'll show up right away in September.
You mentioned junior high wing, so those are existing classrooms, and they're right around the what I call the new gymnasium area, right?
Yep, that is right. So if you walk into River Valley High School and you look straight ahead, you see our cafeteria. Straight behind that is the new gym, which is now 30 years old, but still it's new to us, right? And
right.
So the wing that goes past that and to the right, which is kind of back where health and math classrooms will become our 7th and 8th grade. So that'll be the junior high. There will actually be a new front on that hallway where there'll be some double doors put in this summer. So it's like you're entering into a separate space, and that will be River Valley Junior High. And back there, Mr. Hegland and the team of teachers will be running kind of a whole junior high schedule back in that wing. And then if you went to the right from the cafeteria as you walk in the door, it's kind of the older part of the building that will still remain River Valley High School. So it'll be a junior high school under one roof.
Junior high will still use the cafeteria, though, for lunch.
They will. So that's the efficiencies that we pick up. They'll use that cafeteria, different time than the high schoolers. They'll use the gymnasiums. They'll use some of the tech ed labs. They'll be able to take some classes in woodshop, in welding, in automation. They'll be able to continue to take classes in agriculture. They'll be using the library. So our library at the high school is going from a 912 library to a 712 library. So we're kind of adding on those 2 younger grades in 7th and 8th grade to everything that was existing at the high school.
And offices like coaches' offices and
Yep.
AD office, and those remain the same.
They do remain the same. There's a few teachers that will have to travel, but they're only traveling on our campus now. So there might be a guy that has to teach a little bit over at the intermediate school and a little bit in the junior high, or something at the high school and over at the elementary. So there are some of those specials teachers, we call them, the elective teachers, that have to transition a little bit, but it really does put everybody with our big field and track in the middle, and everybody surrounds it. So it's going to be kind of a hub of activity right there in Spring Green.
Tell me about the new wood shop and the improvements there, Loren.
So the wood shop's exciting, and we're excited to have a new wood shop come in. So the wood shop that we're currently using has been at the old junior high that became a middle school that is now going to become an intermediate school. So back in 1969, they finished up a wood shop on the back side of that building. And that wood shop has a great tradition. It has some great projects that have come out of it, but a lot of the equipment in there is existing from the original building of that. So we have some old equipment in our wood shop. So as that transitions over to the high school, we'll be taking over half of where the welding shop used to be. It's kind of the welding shop's classroom. That's going to be turned into a brand new wood shop. And we've been working with a design firm and really working on getting new equipment in there. So it's really nothing structural, no walls, no big changes there. The doorway is going to be widened a little bit, and we're going to update the windows so that they're not single pane. But beyond that, we're really putting in new equipment in a wood shop, and we're really excited about that. River Valley has continued to invest time and money into technology education, really what we call, CTE, right? And so within consumer and technical education, you've got a lot of different fields in there. You've got agricultural classes, you've got business classes, and you've got the tech ed classes, which for us are now going to be 3 updated labs for a wood shop, a metal shop, and an auto shop. And so those 3 areas we continue to invest time and money in because we know that the kids need to be job and career ready as they leave River Valley. We started our conversation, Phil, around the idea of graduation. If you take that 100 kids that we graduate, about 50% of those kids will go into an apprenticeship, a 2-year degree, or go straight to work. So you don't want to get kids just prepped to go to a 4-year institution somewhere else. You've got to get them prepped to be in your community. And the jobs in our community are very much focused around the area, even here in Richland Center, around technology. They're around those fabrication. They're around those big ideas of working in some of the great areas of trades. So we're excited about that. So we want to make sure that we're prepping kids for that. So River Valley has invested some time and money there. I guess I'd love to also say that money didn't all come from our budget. Oftentimes when we go to referendum, folks would shout out to me, you got to find money in a new way. Our taxes are high. We need you to find different ways to pay for all these great things that you need. And we did. We really went to the Wisconsin Economic Development Corporation, the WEDC as it's called, and we worked with them and we worked with CISA 3, our cooperative education agency, and came up with some labs that were built off of grant money. And so the last 3 years at River Valley, we have paid 25% of a large lab cost that's coming in. And so for, pennies on the dollar, we were able to really implement some new changes into a fab lab, a fabrication lab that goes into our auto area. So we're excited about that. It kind of creates an advanced manufacturing and youth apprenticeship academy over at River Valley. And we're excited about that because it allows us to become kind of a regional leader in that, so that maybe kids in Riverdale or maybe kids in Ithaca or maybe kids out in Weston want to come down and be a part of this, that they could come in the evenings and still use some of this academy and they could be a part of that. So there will be a lot of kind of integration in the region of how to use these lab areas in River Valley so that we can continue to offer the great things to our, not only our community, but to our region, to make sure that kids are getting what they need.
I know that schools have been doing that for a little while. If they can go to River Valley, it saves some mileage, doesn't it?
It does, because if they don't want to travel all the way into Madison to the Madison Area Technical College or go over to Fenimore, which is about an hour, if they can take 20 minutes and come over to us and be kind of a regional space, we're more than welcome to have them there. So again, Carla Carmody in our welding area, Robbie Jacobson in our automation and fabrication area, and now TJ Wanneke, who will be getting a brand new woods lab. We're really wanting them to be local leaders so that they are connected with companies like Cardinal, like Rockwell, with local construction agencies, so that we're training the workers for the consumer. We're trying to make sure that the kids are trained and ready to go to get out into the job force if that's what the kid chooses to do. So we're excited about it, and it's a good thing. We've found some great monies, again, from the Wisconsin Economic Development Corp to help us grant in some of those dollars, and that way we can afford it, but also it pushes the district forward.
Isn't it interesting how education has been changing the last few years to kind of fit the needs of students a little better, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think it has, and I think we can't just presume that we know what every kid's going to need. again, back in the day, because I'm old, I'm 55, we kind of got ready, and it was known that we were going to have a couple jobs. Maybe we'd transition, like I was an educator, transition from a district to another district, but I wasn't going to leave education. You went into radio, into broadcasting, and you didn't leave that to go become a carpenter, right?
I'd have starved.
But within that, kids today, as they go into the job force, they will kind of jump between different careers and different fields because technology has increased the speed of how some of these things are developing. So some of the computer technicians of today, we don't even know the technology that's going to be developed in the next 10 years for them to train into. So kids are going to jump and move a lot more, and we need to make sure that kids are flexible, that they're cooperative, that they're collaborative, that they know how to jump from these different fields and remain successful throughout their career path. So we can't just, again, presume or assume that they're going to find a job and stick with it. Those days are pretty rare. And so we want to make sure that the kids have all this great wealth and background of information and they're ready to go and get going. Just a great article that I was just reading the other day that came out from the Wisconsin Public Radio source. It talks about Wisconsin shop teachers overhauling all their curriculums to encourage kids to consider trades. We need kids to go into the trades. We need kids to be highly encouraged to go into the trades. They're great paying jobs. Whether you're from Middleton or Ithaca, there's a lot that needs to be done. And there's a quote in here that I really liked. There's a lot more going on in these jobs and into these classes within Wisconsin schools than just showing up and doing some welding or hammering of the nails in the wood. There's a large industry need for these advanced positions, and one of the biggest hurdles is the lack of familiarity. So we need to make sure that our teachers are prepping these kids for these great jobs that are out there, and I think River Valley's trying to do a really good job of that. So I wanted to do a great big shout out to our community as they support an operational referendum in our district. We recognize that some of those dollars go strictly out there for the great things that we offer in tech ed and engineering.
The areas kind of in the same wing of the school, right?
Yes.
You can't have woodworking by welding, so you've got that all divvied up pretty well.
Yeah, I think we do. And I think it really does dig into the idea that welding kind of falls into art. And art kind of falls into woods, and woods kind of falls into fabrication, and fabrication falls into welding. And they're very integrated in that sense, but they are at the ends of our building because they're a little louder than some classrooms, right? So if a kid's welding or if a kid's really trying to figure out the manifold and an automotive, technology thing, we really want to make sure that they're out there. When I speak to the great things and the great electives that we offer in tech ed and engineering, I just want people to know that it goes from electronics to robotics to aviation to launching welding. It's basic gas metal arc welding, but it's also shielded metal arc welding. Just great things out there that we offer for the kids. And again, those are things that go beyond our budget. Those are not things that the state requires a district to do. It's what our district is trying to do to make sure that we're keeping up with the times and keeping everybody ready for the jobs that are out there after graduation.
What about the building at Plain? Has anything happened with that?
Well, the building at Plain, this week, the teachers are vacating, right? Mm-hmm. So kindergarten and 4K teachers, thank you. If you're listening, you're packing everything up, right? They've basically been having garage sales in their classrooms for all those kids. And I'm sure some of our 4K and 5K parents noticed some games and puzzles and things being sent home. And so thank you for taking those on. But now in Plain, that building will be sold. A lot of people wonder, what are you going to do with that school in Plain now? It will be sold, and our hope is that there is somebody in the community that really wants to take that on and turn it into something great for the community of Plain. We don't want it to just sit vacant because that's not good for one of our 4 communities. So we want to make sure that we're using it. So the Board of Education has directed the central office team to really find a real estate broker. And within the state of Wisconsin, we're seeing a lot of old schools being developed into new facilities for their communities. And so we're excited about that. This Thursday at our school board meeting, there's going to be a real estate broker chosen. From that, there'll be estimates and it'll get advertised and it'll go out for bid. And so we're excited about that. we'll have the summer to get everything out of there. That would be the summer of the Great Migration again, to get everything moving along and get it down to our campus. But then hopefully there's somebody out there that really wants to use that building in Plain. It's a beautiful building. It's got a great roof. It's got some great spaces in there. We're excited about the opportunities that it could bring to our community. So that'll go for sale. And that kind of answers that question. The broker will then take it over and they'll work with the board to come up with the best price and the best buyer, and we'll move ahead.
We drive by the facility in Arena that
Yes.
used to belong to the district. They've really put that to good use for the community.
Yeah, that's an incredible example of how you can take something that was a school and turn it into something new. It's on the level, so there's no stairs in that building, so it became apartments for people that could need that ability or disability, and there are some great apartments that were built in there, almost like studio apartments. So within that, but they also kept the gymnasium, and that gymnasium became, I believe, a gymnastics school rents it out. So there's kids that are still tumbling and twirling and whirling around in that gymnasium, but it also houses the Arena Food Pantry. So it has community feel, it has rental space, and it also has apartment space. So for all of those things, those three things add to that community, and that's exactly what we'd like to see happen in Plain. The school districts are not in the business of building housing, but they are in the business of using those spaces and making sure that we get them off to the next best user. So I think that's exciting, and we're excited about what could become of that school in Plain.
So the Great Migration is underway then. Are there phases that you're following then, Loren?
It really, this week, Phil, is really about cleaning in the rooms for the people that aren't moving. But this week also, our staff are being asked to come in and really get everything boxed up and get it going. So we're excited about that, and they'll get all those boxes ready. And then there's a huge spreadsheet that basically shows every room in the district of everything's packed, everything's moved out. A cleaning team comes in, everything is cleaned, that team comes out, the new stuff goes in, and so before the new stuff comes in, it had to come out from some other room somewhere else, and that creates a vacancy. So then the cleaning team goes into that vacant space, they clean it, and then new stuff comes in, that creates a vacancy, and then we go back into that space. So it's a cycle of somebody leaving, somebody cleaning, and somebody coming into that space. And so it's a big cycle of that on a spreadsheet, and it's all going to get done. We have enough time in the summer, as we remain flexible and hardworking, we're going to get there. It gives us about 75 days to move about 75 classrooms.
It's not like an outdoor project where you have to, it's dependent on the weather. You can get it done indoors.
Correct.
Yeah.
We'll have to have a couple trucks take a lot of pallets from up at Plain because kindergarten and 4K have a lot of stuff. So that stuff will come down and that will get down here. But beyond that, there'll be a lot of stuff in hallways. There'll be some gyms that have kind of some stuff in the corners. But beyond that, we're going to be able to work really hard to get that done, and we've hired some people that are going to help us, some educators and teachers assistants that are really going to be a moving team, if you will, all summer to help us get everything coordinated. It can't be done just by the 2 or 3 janitors that we have in those buildings. So we had to hire in some extra people, but it's all worth it in the end, and we're excited about all the great opportunities. When I come back and speak in July, I'll give you a big report on what that looks like, and then in August, I'll be able to report that we're almost done. So it's going to go fast. It's going to be exciting. I keep saying exciting and positive, but it's going to be a lot, and we're thankful for the people that are putting in the hard work to get this all up and running.
What about hiring? I'm guessing as every year goes by, you've got a few staff that stay, some that don't?
Yeah, we've really right now don't have a lot of openings. We've been very lucky with some of the reductions based on our last referendum. We had to do some reductions, so some of those reductions created some opportunity for some people to move into new jobs, so that was good. And through attrition, rather than rehiring, people retire, and that's a good thing too. But we have a couple hires out there. We have a special ed job that's open right now. I believe we have a grade 2 opening that just happened because of somebody that moved to a different space. And then we have one secretarial and library job kind of open right now. But beyond that, we've been really lucky, and anything that we had in an opening, we'd throw it out onto the Wisconsin education system. It's called WeCan, WECAN. And within days, we get applicants. Within those days, we interview, and people have chosen to come back to River Valley or to be a part of our teams. And so it's been a good transition. We've been able to fill all those openings thus far.
Wonderful. Well, happy summer for you.
Hey, thank you so much. We're excited to do the work of summer. It's really where you set aside and kind of coordinate and get ready. It's kind of funny. The last 3 weeks as I go around the district, I get less busy. Nobody really wants to see me because I'm all about the goals of 25, 26. And they just want to pack and get rid of 24, 25. So I think the teachers are excited for the day of packing today and getting everything up and moving. And we're excited about summer. We're going to have a lot of things to move, but we're excited about what is to come. So anybody that wants to come by and see all the crazy, chaotic moving, feel free, stop on in or come on into the district office for a cup of coffee. I'm always really willing and able to sit down and chat.
We'll see how well rested you are in July when you come back.
I'll do my best, Phil. Thank you so much, sir.
You bet. Loren Glassbrenner joining us, River Valley District Administrator, on this part of the morning show.